Hello everyone! Today my story is not going to be about museums, waterfalls or cemeteries, but about several very unusual attractions. What is so weird about them? These places are very bizarre because you may walk past them every day and don't even notice them. Today I'm gonna show you the smallest attractions in London. Trafalgar Square. This is maybe one of the most popular attractions in London. You can find here the National Gallery, Nelson's Column and the fourth plinth. On this plinth are exhibited various types of modern art. Right now it's a giant ice cream with a drone and a fly on it. If you're planning to enjoy the view of the square from this angle, you will hardly notice the small construction behind you. This here is the smallest police station, or better to say, police observation post in London. But why on earth did the police use such tiny premises for police post? Well, Trafalgar Square used to be a spot where protests were held, especially by the beginning of the 20th century. So the Metropolitan Police wanted to keep order and prevent any out-of-hand situations here. In order to do that, they needed kind of Eye of Sauron there. A brilliant idea occurred to the authorities. One of the lampstands was hollowed and connected with telephone communication to the nearest police station. So the the officer could peacefully observe the crowd through the slits and report any suspicious activity immediately. By the way, whilst filming these shots, I met a guy who came to Trafalgar Square with his bird. Predator bird. About 3 minutes away from the police post, next to London Coliseum, is situated the narrowest street in London, Brydges Place. As you can see in the beginning, it's very narrow. The width of this street, or let's say lane, or better to say alley, is only 84 centimeters. Although Brydges Place is not so narrow as the narrowest street in the world. That is Spreuerhofstrasse in Germany. If you will ever get to Spreuerhofstrasse, try to go through this street on empty stomach, because in the narrowest place it's only, can you imagine, 31 centimeters wide. So even for a skinny person like me, it'll be difficult to get through. But don't worry about Brydges Place. There is enough space even for big people. The only thing is, if you're broad-shouldered, try to walk kind of sideways, and you will succeed to get through. And one more thing, if you decide to visit Brydges Place, you better take some respirator with you, because the smell here is amazing. If you're planning to visit the Tower of London, you can take a look at the smallest statue in the capital as well. It's situated within about 10 minutes walk from the tower, on Philpot Lane. You have to be very vigilant to see it because it's situated on the wall about 2 meters above your head, and it's very small. Just let me zoom a bit, and a bit more, and a bit more. Yes, there it is. This is the statue. 2 mice fighting over a piece of cheese. There is no information about who created this memorial, although there is a beautiful legend to whom this small piece of art is dedicated to. The construction workers in this area took their lunch break sitting on the scaffold high above the ground. One of them discovered his food had been half eaten and accused his colleague of destroying the precious sandwich. They started arguing and fighting, which was obviously not the best idea. They fell and died, and it was later discovered that the food was eliminated by mice. So that's why this statue reminds us about those unfortunate guys. and maybe about the mice as well. In South London, not far from Greenwich Park, on the junction of Tyrwhitt Road and Lamppost Hill, is situated a very ordinary red telephone box. You can just go past the box without even noticing it. I think you know the majority of these booths are nothing but tourist attractions nowadays. But not this one, which still serves the society as a library. Yes, this is the smallest library in London. Yes, the librarian doesn't fit in the phone box because there is no librarian. Yes, the books are free to take away. Only bring your own books for exchange, otherwise the library police is gonna chase you. I'm joking, of course. This library is a brainchild of the local guy Sebastian Handley, who decided to fill one of these phone booths with his own books. It's very convenient that this library works 24 hours. This place became so popular that you can find it even on Google Maps. Just don't confuse it with the other library in similar red box on Wickham Road, because that one is filled with books for children and toys. In West London, in Kew Gardens Park, there is a small red building. Several other premises used to stay around here, but this red castle is the only structure existing nowadays. This is the smallest amongst the royal palaces. In the 18th century, this building caught the attention of the King of England. I might be wrong, but I think by that time the King of England was King George II. He decided this is going to be the best place for rest, walking, relaxation, maybe even meditation, for his whole family and especially for his 3 daughters. Later, during the reign of King George III, the population of the house increased. He didn't have too much children, only 15. The palace itself isn't too big, obviously. The palace serves as a museum today, so you can take a look at the royal living room, library, bedrooms and even the toilet. Also, the view from the palace is not bad. By the way, in front of the building there are 2 giant ancient trees. One of them is more than 250 years old. But the most interesting place, in my opinion, is situated in front of St. Paul's Cathedral, which is behind me, on Millennium Bridge. I'm gonna show you now. We're gonna search here. Here there is nothing, and here. To be honest, if you don't know what to search for, you won't find anything. And we're searching for the smallest pictures in London. In order to find them, you need to squat, I presume. Here you are. 1, 2, 3, plenty of them. The most interesting thing is that these pictures are not painted on the floor. The creator Ben Wilson found a very unusual solution to avoid penalties for vandalism. He drew his pictures on chewing gum which was already on the surface. Fortunately for him, there are too many people who have discarded their chewing gum on the floor. Unfortunately for us, such people as Mr. Wilson do exist. So we can see here not some disgusting chewing gum, but pieces of art. Apart from all those places I've mentioned, you can find of course plenty other tiny attractions, such as the smallest square, Pickering Place. The thinnest house on Goldhawk Road. The shortest street, Kirk Street. There is also the tiniest church, the most compact cafe, Amar Cafe, and maybe one of the smallest Banksy graffitis on Tooley Street. To be fair, this graffiti is quite well preserved. In one of the previous videos, which is appearing now in the top right corner, I told you about two amazing museums in South Kensington, Victoria and Albert and Natural History Museum. So if you're planning to visit any of them, just to let you know that within walking distance from both of them on Trafalgar Square you can find the narrowest building in London, or one of the narrowest, because you can find a block of flats similar to this on Charterhouse Street as well. To be fair, I don't know which one is the narrowest.